My name is Dorothy. I am 81 years old, and I need you to stop for just a moment. Not because I have all the answers, I don't, but because I spent the better part of 2 decades doing things that were quietly draining the life right out of me, and I didn't even know it was happening until most of the damage was done. I am not here to give you a list of supplements or a morning routine. I am here to tell you what nobody at 40, 50, or even 60 is willing to say out loud. Because by the time you get to where I am, you see it all very clearly. You see what mattered. You see what was a complete waste. And you see exactly what was stealing your peace the entire time you were too busy to notice. If you stay with me for the next few minutes, I'm going to share 5 things that I wish someone had sat me down and told me before I turned 60. 5 things that look completely normal on the outside, even responsible, but that will rob you of the one thing no amount of money can buy back: your peace. And the 5th one, I am saving it for last, because it is the most common, the most invisible, and in my opinion, the most destructive of them all. Number 5, staying informed about everything all the time. Now I know what you are thinking. Dorothy, staying informed is important. How can knowing things be a problem? And I understand. I really do. Because for most of our lives, being informed felt like a duty. You read the newspaper, you watched the evening news, you stayed current. That was what responsible adults did. But something changed. The news stopped being something you checked once a day and became something that was always on, always demanding your attention, always telling you the world was ending in some new way by the hour. I had a television in my bedroom for 11 years. Every morning, before my feet even touched the floor, I was already anxious. Not about my life, about everything else. The economy, the politics, the disaster on the other side of the world. The argument happening between strangers online that somehow made my chest feel tight. My daughter finally said to me one afternoon, "Mama, you are not solving any of these problems. You are just soaking in them." And she was right. Here is what I learned. There is a difference between being informed and being consumed. One makes you a better citizen. The other makes you a worse version of yourself. After 60, your nervous system has already been through enough. Decades of stress, grief, change, and adaptation. It deserves protection, not constant bombardment. What can you do instead? Choose a single brief window each day to catch up on what matters. Then close it. Turn it off. Walk away. And fill the rest of your time with things that actually belong to your life. Your garden, your grandchildren, your books, your walks, your conversations that have nothing to do with the headlines. You are not abandoning the world by protecting your mind. You are making sure you still have something left to give to it. Number 4, keeping up appearances for people who aren't even watching. For most of my adult life, I kept a perfectly clean house, not because I loved cleaning, I didn't, but because I was afraid of what people might think if they stopped by and it wasn't spotless. I wore certain clothes to certain events because of what others might say. I said yes to things I did not want to do because I did not want to seem difficult or ungrateful. I spent money I didn't really have on things I didn't really need because I didn't want anyone to think I was struggling. And you know what I realized at 73? Sitting at my kitchen table after a neighbor's funeral, most of those people weren't watching. They were busy doing the same thing, performing their lives for an audience that barely existed. There is a very particular kind of exhaustion that comes from living for other people's perception of you. It is slow and quiet, and it compounds over years. And after 60, your body will start sending you the bill. I knew a woman, sharp, funny, full of life, who spent her retirement doing things she hated because she had spent so long being the person others expected her to be that she had completely lost track of who she actually was underneath all of it. She told me once, "I don't even know what I like anymore. I only know what looks good." That broke my heart. It really did. What can you focus on instead? Start practicing what I call the 5-year test. Ask yourself, will this decision, this obligation, this performance matter in 5 years? Will the person I am trying to impress even remember? And if the answer is no, give yourself permission to let it go. After 60, your energy is a limited and precious resource. Spend it on things that are genuinely yours. Number 3, waiting for an apology before you allow yourself to move on. This one is hard. I am going to ask you to sit with it. How many years have you spent waiting for someone to acknowledge what they did to you? A parent who never said sorry. A spouse who never admitted fault. A friend who let you down and simply moved on as if nothing happened. A sibling who took something from you, your inheritance, your confidence, your sense of home, and never once looked back. I spent 12 years quietly angry at my brother. 12 years. Carrying it to family dinners, carrying it to holidays, carrying it into my sleep. And one morning I woke up and thought, he is living his life completely undisturbed, and I am the one paying the price for what he did. That is when I understood something that changed everything for me. Forgiveness is not something you do for the other person. It is something you do for yourself. It is not saying what they did was okay. It is not pretending it didn't happen. It is simply refusing to let their behavior continue to determine the quality of your daily life. The apology may never come. And if you have decided that your peace depends on it, you have handed the key to your own freedom to someone who may never give it back. Some people are not capable of the apology you deserve. That is the truth. Waiting for them to become capable is not loyalty. It is self-imprisonment. What can you focus on instead? Write the letter you've been waiting for them to send you. Write it yourself. Write down everything you needed to hear. Read it. Let yourself feel it. And then make a choice. Not to forget, not to pretend, but to stop letting the weight of the past crowd out the life you still have in front of you. Because you do still have life in front of you, and it is worth more than a debt someone else refuses to pay. Number 2, treating your body like it is still on standby. For the first 50 or 60 years of most of our lives, our bodies were remarkably forgiving. We skipped sleep. We ate poorly. We sat too long. We skipped the walk, the checkup, the quiet moment of rest. And somehow the machine kept running. And then one day, slowly, and then all at once, it stops being so forgiving. I ignored what my body was telling me for years. I told myself I was too busy. I told myself it was just age. I told myself it wasn't serious. I pushed through fatigue that was not normal fatigue. I dismissed pain that deserved attention. I treated rest as laziness and stillness as something I had not yet earned. And then I ended up in the hospital for 6 days with something that should have been caught 2 years earlier when I first noticed something was off. 6 days in a hospital bed will teach you very quickly that your health is not a backdrop to your life. It is the stage everything else stands on. After 60, the relationship with your body must change. It can no longer be a relationship of neglect and override. It must become one of attention, of respect, of listening. And this does not mean becoming afraid of every symptom or obsessing over every ache. It means building simple, consistent habits that honor the body that has carried you this far. Sleep like it matters, because it does. Move every single day, even gently, even slowly. Eat food that feeds you rather than just fills you. Go to the appointments. Ask the questions. Say the words out loud to the doctor, even when they feel embarrassing or small. What can you focus on instead? Pick one thing today, just one. The walk you have been skipping, the appointment you have been putting off, the glass of water instead of something else. Not because you are trying to be perfect, but because after everything your body has done for you, it deserves a little more of your care. Number 1, living in the future to avoid the present. And here it is, the one that is the hardest to see because it looks exactly like wisdom. How much of your life are you living in some version of what comes next? When the kids are settled, I'll relax. When I retire, I'll travel. When the finances are more stable, I'll start enjoying things. When things slow down, I'll finally have time for myself. When this hard season passes, I'll be happy. I spent 30 years in that corridor, always almost there, always just around the corner from the life I actually wanted to be living. And the cruel thing about that corridor is that it never ends. Because the moment one condition is met, another one appears to take its place. I remember standing at my kitchen window on a Tuesday afternoon in November, about 6 months after I had retired. I had done everything right. The kids were raised. The mortgage was paid. The career was finished. The hard years were behind me, and I felt nothing. Not joy, not peace, not relief. Just a hollow kind of quiet. And the sudden terrifying awareness that I had spent so long preparing for a life I had never quite allowed myself to live. My friend Edna, She passed away 3 years ago. God rest her soul. She told me something once that I have thought about nearly every day since. She said, "Dorothy, I kept waiting for my real life to start. And now I can see that it was happening the whole time. I just wasn't there for most of it." I was not there for most of mine either. After 60, the future is shorter than it has ever been. That is not a cruel fact. It is a clarifying one. It is the universe finally, firmly, kindly telling you, this is the time. Not later. Now. The Sunday afternoon with nothing on the calendar, that is not wasted time. That is your life. The cup of coffee you actually taste instead of drinking it standing over the sink, that is your life. The phone call you make for no reason other than you were thinking of someone, that is your life. What can you focus on instead? Try this. At the end of each day, ask yourself one question. Was I present for the moments that were actually mine today? Not perfect, not productive, just present. Because peace is not something that arrives when conditions are finally right. Peace is what happens when you stop postponing your own life and start showing up for it. Let me bring this together. Number 5. Stop letting the noise of the world crowd out the quiet of your own mind. Stay informed, yes, but stay sane first. Number 4. Stop performing your life for an audience that is barely watching. The people who truly matter love who you actually are, not the version you exhaust yourself maintaining. Number 3. Stop waiting for an apology that may never come. Your peace is not their responsibility to return. It is yours to reclaim. Number 2. Stop treating your body like it is still on standby. It has carried you this far. It deserves your attention, your respect, and your care. And number 1. Stop living in the future and start showing up for the life that is actually happening right now. Because here is the truth I wish someone had told me at 55. The peace you are waiting for, it is not waiting for your circumstances to change. It is waiting for you to stop giving it away. You have already done the hard work of building a life. You have raised the children, weathered the losses, survived the years that nearly broke you, and come through the other side still standing. You have earned the right to live what is left of it, fully, honestly, and at peace. Don't let these 5 things take that from you. If this reached you today, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you've already learned one of these lessons the hard way, I'd love to hear your story in the comments below. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take good care of yourself.